The Future of the American Negro by Booker T. Washington. Chapter 1. In this volume I shall not attempt to give the origin and history of the Negro race either in Africa or in America. My attempt is to deal only with conditions that now exist and bear a relation to the Negro in America and that are likely to exist in the future. In discussing the Negro, it is always to be borne in mind that, unlike all the other inhabitants of America, he came here without his own consent. In fact, was compelled to leave his own country and become a part of another through physical force. It should also be borne in mind, in our efforts to change and improve the present condition of the Negro, that we are dealing with a race which had little necessity to labor in its native country. After being brought to America, the Negroes were forced to labor for about 250 years under circumstances which were calculated not to inspire them with love and respect for labor. This constitutes a part of the reason why I insist that it is necessary to emphasize the matter of industrial education as a means of giving the black man the foundation of a civilization upon which he will grow and prosper. When I speak of industrial education, however, I wish it always understood that I mean, as did General Armstrong, the founder of the Hampton Institute, for thorough academic and religious training to go side by side with industrial training. Mere training of the hand without the culture of brain and heart would mean little. The first slaves were brought into this country by the Dutch in 1619 and were landed at Jamestown, Virginia. The first cargo consisted of 20. The census taken in 1890 shows that these 20 slaves had increased to 7,638,360. About 6,353,341 of this number were residing in the southern states, and 1,283,029 were scattered throughout the northern and western states. I think I am pretty safe in predicting that the census to be taken in 1900 will show that there are not far from 10 millions of people of African descent in the United States. The great majority of these, of course, reside in the southern states. The problem is how to make these millions of Negroes self-supporting, intelligent, economical, and valuable citizens, as well as how to bring about proper relations between them and the white citizens among whom they live. This is the question upon which I shall try to throw some light in the chapters which follow. When the Negroes were first brought to America, they were owned by white people in all sections of this country, as is well known, in the New England, the Middle, and in the Southern states. It was soon found, however, that slave labor was not remunerative in the northern states, and for that reason, by far, the local proportion of the slaves were held in the southern states, where their labor in raising cotton, rice, and sugar cane was more productive. The growth of the slave population in America was constant and rapid. Beginning, as I have stated, with 14 in 1619, the number increased at such a rate that the total number of Negroes in America in 1800 was 1,001,463. This number increased by 1860 to 3,950,000. A few people predicted that freedom would result disastrously to the Negro as far as numerical increase was concerned, but so far the census figures have failed to bear out this prediction. On the other hand, the census of 1890 shows that the Negro population had increased from 3,950,000 in 1860 to 7,638,260 25 years after the war. It is my opinion that the rate of increase in the future will be still greater than it has been from the close of the War of the Rebellion up to the present time, for the reason that the very sudden changes which took place in the life of the Negro because of having his freedom plunged him into many excesses that were detrimental to his physical well-being. Of course, freedom found him unprepared in clothing, in shelter, and in knowledge of how to care for his body. During slavery, the slave mother had little control of her own children, and did not therefore have the practice and experience of rearing children in a suitable manner. Now that the Negro is being taught in thousands of schools how to take care of his body, and in thousands of homes mothers are learning how to control their children, I believe that the rate of increase, as I have stated, will be still greater than it has been in the past. In too many cases, the Negro had the idea that freedom meant merely license to do as he pleased, to work or not to work, but this erroneous idea is more and more disappearing, by reason of the education in the right direction which the Negro is constantly receiving. During the 4 years that the Civil War lasted, the greater proportion of the Negroes remained in the South and worked faithfully for the support of their masters' families, who, as a general rule, were away in the war. The self-control which the Negro exhibited during the war marks, it seems to me, one of the most important chapters in the history of the race. Notwithstanding, he knew that his master was away from home, fighting a battle which, if successful, would result in his continued enslavement, yet he worked faithfully for the support of the master's family. If the Negro had yielded to the temptation and suggestion to use the torch or dagger in